Entertaining America's troops was a task that was very meaningful to Bob Hope, so much so that when his USO service came to an end, he invited members of the military to his Palm Springs home for one final party. Our Steve Summerall remembers in this week's edition of Our Desert Pass.
This base has a wonderful location right between Laos and Cambodia, two of our stronger allies.
This is footage shot in Vietnam in 1967 of Bob Hope doing one of the things for which he is best remembered, entertaining troops during a time of war.
Here I am at Da Nang, better known as Dodge City.
Through his involvement with the USO, Bob Hope has stepped onto the stage for the specific purpose of bringing smiles to the faces of every member of the United States military since 1941.
I have real good news for you. I want to tell you guys the country's behind you 50%.
His commitment to this service lasted half a century. From World War II in Korea through the third phase of the Lebanon Civil War, then the Iran-Iraq War and the war in Afghanistan. Remarkably, he has headlined 57 times. For all his efforts, Bob Hope was recognized by the United States Congress as an honorary veteran of the U.S. Armed Forces. Bob Hope's final USO show was in 1990. However, that would not be the last time that he would entertain the troops. That would be a year later. Not in Iraq or Afghanistan, but right here in Palm Springs.
I asked one Marine what he thought of our house. He said, "Gee, Bob, I didn't know you were doing so well."
On April 6, 1991, NBC aired Bob Hope's Yellow Ribbon Party, a homecoming show for U.S. troops who have served in both the 1989 invasion of Panama and the 1991 Persian Gulf War. Like all of Bob's televised events, there were entertaining guests such as Patti LaBelle, Clint Black, and Brooke Shields, and many comedic moments, like this one that Bob shared with Ann Jillian.
I am so glad that you're throwing this party. Not only do the troops need it, but so does the nation.
I know what you mean. Thanks to television, that was brought right into our living rooms.
I know. It was so real, I took cover twice.
We watched bombings at the precise moment they were occurring.
Like your audience does?
As part of an earlier promise to Special Forces, Bob threw this party at his Palm Springs home. And he was sure to give a shout-out to some of the Coachella Valley's most prominent figures that were in attendance.
I want you to give a big hand to Walter Annenberg, ladies and gentlemen. Walter Annenberg was ambassador to Great Britain, and his wife was there. She was ambassador of protocol at the White House, Lee Annenberg. Wonderful gal. I want you to meet the owner of the California Angels baseball team, America's most famous singing cowboy, and a good neighbor of ours, owner of the famous Gene Autry Hotel here in the desert, Gene Autry. Where is he?
I'm very, very sorry that I can't be with you in person, but I very much also appreciate the opportunity to say hello to you and, more importantly, to say hello to all the fine young Marines and sailors that you're entertaining at your home today.
The troops were also honored with a pre-taped message from then-chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Colin Powell.
Thanks, Bob. And Semper Fi and anchors away to all my great sailors and Marines. Enjoy the party.
Bob took some time to acknowledge the war efforts of some old friends.
Let's bring him up here, Mr. Jimmy Stewart, right here.
Friends such as Brigadier General James Stewart.
Oh, I wouldn't miss this for the world, Bob.
Yes, you heard that right. Not only was Jimmy Stewart the first American movie star to enlist during World War II, the Air Force awarded him the Distinguished Flying Cross, and in 1959, he achieved the rank of a one-star general officer, becoming the highest-ranking actor in American military history. Also on hand were a few surprise guests.
Mr. Hope, I'm Sergeant Major Walker. I saw you first in Vietnam in 1966.
You're kidding. Really?
Yes, sir.
Well, it's wonderful to see you.
And the troops' efforts would be acknowledged by one very proud former president and First Lady.
Here, ladies and gentlemen, President Jerry Ford and Betty Ford, right over here. There they are.
Betty and I are honored, delighted, pleased to be here, and we can't express adequately our appreciation for the wonderful job that all of the Marines and the other military did on behalf of all of us American, and we thank each and every one of you. We're very, very proud of you.
Oh, that's great. And Prez, you and I will have to play some golf again.
I hope soon. I need some money, Bob.
After all the festivities, Bob's final words would put it all into perspective.
It was a great day. A day none of us will ever forget.
A great day out of our desert past. Steve Sumrall, NBC Palm Springs, News First.